A single dairy cow produces enough milk to feed your entire family for free, with gallons left over to share with neighbors. It costs about $2,000 a year to keep that cow fed and healthy. Sell the surplus to a few families down the road, and the cow pays for herself. Your milk costs nothing. Your neighbors save hundreds. The farmer thrives. Everybody wins. Except in some states, that simple transaction is a crime, not a fine, a criminal offense. So why did America outlaw the oldest food trade in human history, and who profits from keeping it illegal? If you have ever wondered why real food keeps getting harder to find, stick around. This one goes deeper than you would expect. Please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Let us get to 10,000 subscribers this month. In 1987, the FDA drew a line in the sand. Under Regulation 21 CFR 1240.61, all milk crossing state lines had to be pasteurized. No exceptions. The official reason was public safety. The practical result was something else entirely. If a farmer sells milk to a processor, they receive about $1.50 per gallon, sometimes less than what it costs to produce. If that same farmer sells raw milk directly to you, they keep $6 to $15 per gallon. That is a 5 to 10-fold profit margin, captured by small farms instead of corporate processors. The ban did not eliminate raw milk. It eliminated competition. For nearly 40 years, small dairy farmers were legally forced to sell at low prices, or not sell at all. But the story does not end there, because some farmers refused to follow the rules. Amos Miller never set out to become a fugitive. He simply wanted to raise cattle and feed his community the way his Amish ancestors had done for generations. In Pennsylvania's Lancaster County, Miller ran a farm with over 4,000 members in what he called a private membership association. Families paid a small fee to join, and in return they could purchase raw milk, butter, cheese, and meat directly from his farm. No middlemen, no processors, no corporate supply chain, just food from farmer to family. The government called it illegal. Miller called it freedom. In 2016, federal investigators traced a listeria outbreak to his farm. One person died. Miller denied responsibility and refused to submit to government inspections, arguing that his private association was not subject to retail regulations. The standoff escalated. In 2019, the USDA filed a civil suit. By 2024, the pressure reached a breaking point. On January 4th, state police arrived at Miller's farm with a search warrant. They seized products, collected samples, and launched a 357-page lawsuit demanding he cease all raw milk operations. Miller's legal fees climbed past $250,000. Supporters rallied outside the Lancaster County Courthouse, over 100 people in a single day. The government says Miller is a health hazard. His defenders say he is proof that the system was never about safety. It was about control. Because while Miller faced bankruptcy, 114 other Pennsylvania dairies continued selling raw milk legally, just with state permits. Miller's crime was not selling dangerous milk. It was refusing to ask permission. But farmers found a crack in the system, and it is spreading. They call it a herd share. The logic is elegant. Selling raw milk is illegal. Owning a cow is not. So instead of buying milk, you buy a share of the cow itself. You pay a one-time fee, maybe $30 to $50, for a fractional ownership stake. Then you pay a monthly boarding fee to cover feed, veterinary care, and labor. You are not buying milk. You are collecting dividends from your own property. The farmer becomes your employee, caring for an animal you partially own. Courts have struggled to shut it down because the transaction never involves a sale of milk. You simply drink what your cow produces. Before we continue, if this is the first you are hearing about herd shares, you are not alone. Drop a comment and let me know if this exists where you live. Today, herd shares operate in at least 31 states. Some states have explicitly legalized them. Others tolerate them in legal gray zones, aware they exist but unwilling to prosecute. Only 9 states have moved to ban herd shares outright: Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Iowa, Maryland, New Jersey, Wisconsin, Arizona, and Massachusetts. Everywhere else, farmers and families have quietly built what some call an underground dairy economy. Millions of dollars changing hands outside the industrial food system. No corporate processors, no government inspections. Just neighbors trading with neighbors, the way dairy worked for 10,000 years before the FDA existed. Then, something shifted. In 2024, raw milk stopped being just a health food. It became a political symbol. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the independent presidential candidate turned Trump ally, made raw milk a centerpiece of his Make America Healthy Again movement. He posted videos of himself drinking it. He defended Amos Miller publicly. When he was confirmed as Secretary of Health and Human Services in 2025, he celebrated by doing shots of raw milk at the White House. The message was unmistakable. Drinking unpasteurized milk was no longer a dietary choice. It was an act of rebellion against the FDA and the industrial food system. MAHA supporters argue that the $1.50 wholesale price forces small farmers into poverty while protecting billion-dollar processors. They point to the economics. A family with 1 cow can produce 8 to 10 gallons of milk per day, far more than they can drink. That surplus, sold at $6 to $10 per gallon, could generate $50,000 a year or more from a single animal. Instead, federal law channels that value to corporations, not communities. The question is no longer whether raw milk is safe. The question is whether the ban was ever really about your health. The Food and Drug Administration maintains that unpasteurized milk can harbor dangerous bacteria, including Salmonella, E. coli, Listeria, and Campylobacter. Between 1998 and 2018, over 2,600 people were sickened from raw milk. Critics argue those numbers pale beside the tens of millions who drink it safely every year. Pasteurization, they note, was invented in the 1860s, when cows lived in filthy urban distilleries and milk was routinely adulterated with chalk and plaster. Modern grass-fed farms, they say, are nothing like the conditions that made pasteurization necessary. So here is the question. The 1987 ban was supposed to settle, but never did. Is the government protecting you from a deadly pathogen, or protecting big dairy from losing its monopoly on the American milk supply? Would you trust a $10 gallon from a farmer you know, or the $3 gallon from a factory you have never seen? The answer might depend on who you believe is really looking out for your family. If this changed how you see the dairy aisle, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are pulling back the curtain on what the food system does not want you to know.